it's Michelle with Pink and Maine. Thanks so much for joining me today. We're going to be making some super sweet cards. You're almost going to want to gobble them up. They're so sweet. So let's get started. I'm so excited to be making these cards with you today. It has been a minute since I have done a card making video, and I have to apologize for that. I'm trying to be better this year. The latter part of last year just was crazy with deadlines and falling behind, or trying not to fall too far behind, keeping up with everything. And I just got behind on my creating and my video making, and I really miss that. This is what I love also as part of Pink and Maine, is sharing my passion for creating cards and other projects with paper. So let's get started with our first card here. I have all our parts and pieces all ready to go. We're going to be making a really cute shaker card. So I've got some of our stop sign red cardstock cut with our scallop rectangle dies, and that's going to be our base layer on our A2 card base. I'm using one of our pre-scored, pre-cut A2 card bases. I love them because they're nice 110-pound cardstock, and I love that they're already just cut and scored for me. I don't have to worry about getting them straight. They're already done. So we've got our red cardstock base layer, and then on top of that I've cut 3 3/4 by 5, a piece of this pattern paper, really cute with the cherries. This is from our Donut Forget paper pack, and it has some super sweet patterns in it. Some of them we're going to be using today, including these cute cherries. So that is going to be the base of our card. So let's go ahead and glue these down. There, I love how that little rectangle leaves those small little scallops around, just like a nice little frame for my pattern paper. This card, we're going to be making a fun little shaker card. We're going to be using the Sweets for My Sweet stamp set, and I have colored this little piece of pie like a cherry pie. I think that's really cute, so it goes along with our cherry papers. Look, the little pie is holding a donut, so that's where your sweets for your sweet. It's a sweet giving a sweet, right? I've also stamped and cut out just a little rectangle with a little flag end here. Sweet wishes for your special day. Sentiment to go on there. With some of our gold glitter paper, I've cut these stitched circle frame dies. So it cuts a bunch of these circular frames when you use the die. It's one die that cuts multiple frames. So I do have more gold circle frames that I can use on other cards. I put them away to use later. But this one fits just nicely on top of our circle shaker covers. So we're going to be using that on the top of it. This is one of our circle shaker covers. Let's see how we can show that in the light. It has a protective film on it. Now this is the only shaker cover that we carry that does not have adhesive already on it. And the reason it does not have adhesive is because there are dozens of these little tabs, and the manufacturer said it is just too many tabs to apply adhesive to during manufacturing and do it cost effectively, if that makes sense. It would be way too expensive to try to add adhesive to all these tabs. But that's not a problem because you still can fold them back and you're going to apply your own adhesive to your paper that's underneath there. So let's go ahead and peel off the protective coating. And just peeled it off there. If you have any trouble getting it away from the shaker cover, you can use our pick up and place tool, the pokey edge, and just kind of scratch at a corner to get that to come up. I die cut this little green polka dot piece from our Dots and Gradients paper pad. I thought that matched nicely with our cherry pattern paper. Before I die cut it, I put one of our adhesive sheets, double-sided adhesive sheets. They look like this, but they're in a sheet. I've also die cut another circle that we can use in case we need it. So I added the adhesive sheet to the back of the pattern paper. I die cut them both, and then you can just peel away the backing for the adhesive sheet. Makes it a sticker basically. So this is like a sticker now. That's one great way to make any of your die cuts adhesive. You can just add the adhesive sheet to the back of it and then die cut, and when you peel that away, you've made your die cut sticky already. So we're going to place this in the shaker cover face down into the back of the shaker cover. I know these little tabs are hard to see because they're clear, but I'm going to center that, and then while I'm holding them both centered together, let's get it just where we want it, I'm going to start to fold over the tabs of the shaker cover and stick them down onto my cardstock piece that's got that adhesive. You can see it's sticking to my fingers. So we just go around in the circle, holding it in place and putting down the tabs onto that adhesive. So I'm just going around. It's sticking there. If you don't have the adhesive sheets, you can use your double-side easy tear tape and put it around the edge. Just something to make the tabs stick to the paper that's on the inside. And we're just going to go most of the way around. Again, just folding those tabs in and sticking them to our paper. So once we get to where I have about 5 of them that I haven't stuck down here, it creates like a pocket. So now I have a little pocket. I want to add my sequins in there, or your little shaker bits. These are our Christmas red confetti sequins. They are limited edition, but I've ordered them several times because it's such a beautiful red. I decided to keep it around a little bit longer than just Christmas. So I'm just going to add a little bit of those. I've still got plenty in the package. I think I'll keep these 3 out here that fell because we can also glue some to the outside of our card as decoration. Now that I have my sequins inside the pocket, I'm just going to continue going around and closing these tabs. And there I have a completely closed up circular shaker pocket. How fun is that? Okay, I love it. And the size of this circle is 3 1/8 inch. So it makes it really easy. You just need a 3-inch circle piece of paper to go on the inside. I wanted to make it easy. Most of us have either dies that would die cut a 3-inch circle, or maybe you could have a paper punch that does a 3-inch circle, but that's a nice easy measurement to do. So this is sticky on the back, but I want to also add some sticky to the outside of these tabs so it'll stick to my card nicely. So I'm just going to move my pieces apart. I'm going to pull my card base over. So we could use our double-sided easy tear tape like I mentioned. You can use liquid glue as long as you have some time to really press it down and let it dry good. But I went ahead and I die cut another just piece of the adhesive sheet. So this is just the adhesive sheet. There's no paper or anything connected to it. It's just the adhesive sheet. So it takes just a second to get the release paper peeled back away. There, I'm going to peel the release paper off, and now I have just double-sided adhesive on this. I'm going to put it directly down on the back of my circular shaker cover. Again, I die cut this with my 3-inch circle die cut. We have a 3-inch circle die in our layered circle dies. Okay, so now that that's on there, I can remove the other release paper. Remember, it's just the adhesive sheet, so it's 2 sheets of release paper with just adhesive on the other side. Gonna peel that away. Now I can throw away both my pieces of release paper. My whole circle shaker is sticky, so I can just stick that down to my card. And now we have circular shaker piece on our card front. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the gold glitter circle frame down onto my shaker cover just to kind of finish it off and make the edges look really pretty. And I want to decide where I'm going to glue my little cherry pie piece there. I'm going to put the sentiment down at the bottom, and then we can glue a couple of these little sequins around there on the card just to bring everything together and finish it off. So first let's glue this frame down. And this frame just does fit around the edge of the shaker pocket. Now we can add our cherry pie. I think with our sentiment I've got a piece of our foam tape adhesive already cut here. I'm going to apply that to the back, and we'll pop that sentiment up just for a little bit of dimension. And the last thing I'll do is I'll just choose three little spots on our card to add these last little sequins. I'm going to use our pick up and place tool. I'm going to use the wax tip end to just pick up these sequins and place them down in the glue. And then I'm closing it up when I'm done. Protect that wax tip. And there we have our first card. Super cute. Love that cherry pie. Love the little circle shaker that's on the front. Sweet wishes for your special day. Super cute. Love that. For our second card, we're going to be doing some foiling. I've already turned my mini ink machine on in the back, so I just need to put it on setting number 3. That's what I use mostly for our foils and foilables. I'm using another side folding pre-scored A2 card base. For our base layer on our card base, I've got a piece of, it's just color toner sheet. So these you can use for your foil negatives, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. We're going to use it that way. But you can also, if it's coordinating with your card, you can just leave it as is. Don't use any foil with it, and it's a nice piece of colored paper to go on your card. And that's how we're going to use that piece there. We're using Chocolate Love stamps and dies. So I've got these sweet little chocolates with the little hearts in between them. They're holding hands. And I've put Touch of Gloss. After I colored them with my Olo markers, I put our Touch of Gloss. Can you see that shiny? So it makes them look like those fancy, shiny chocolates from your fancy chocolate store. And then I have stamped and just cut out I love you, a chocolate. Thought that was cute. Our ink machine is already ready. I've also cut out of our notched corner dies just a smaller rectangle out of our vellum. This is our nice 48-pound vellum. It's nice stiff vellum. I really like it. It's still translucent. You can see through it. Adds a nice little layer to soften your card. So I'm going to set that aside. We're going to do our foiling first. Since I've had these pieces sitting around a few days, waiting for me to make the cards, I'm going to dust them off with our foil dusting brush. Kind of just removes any dust or debris or pet hair, anything that might be on the foilable or foil. That'll keep that foil from adhering to the foilable. I'm going to take our transfer folder. I'm using this really pretty, it's got like different kinds of hearts all over it. I think this is from our Valentine's foilable kit. And we're going to be foiling that with our Sparkle Pink, which is a really pretty kind of magenta pink, and it matches that toner paper really well. This toner paper is from the Garden Color Toner Sheets. So I've got my foil pretty side up on top of my foilable. We can flip it over, make sure it's centered nicely, and all of the foilable is covered with foil. And then we just carefully run it straight and even through our mini ink machine. It's going to do all the work for us. While that runs through, I've also got just a striped foilable. I believe this is in the Valentine kit as well. I think it has some stripes. We also have striped panels that you can use. So we'll pull our first piece out and we're going to let that cool off before we do the peel and reveal, which is my favorite part of foiling. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and remove both of them from the transfer sheet and just let them cool on my table here. Next up, we're going to foil this striped piece, and I'm going to be foiling it with Glitzy Gold. Glitzy Gold is, I think that's my favorite gold because it's a really pretty gold foil, but it's not just plain gold. It's got a little glitz to it. It looks like tiny little glitter particles in gold, and it's really pretty, but it's not like overly patterned with lots of design to it. It's still just a simple gold that looks really pretty with everything. So let's do the peel and reveal on our first panel. Ta-da! Okay, so we've got our first panel now with that pretty sparkle pink. Gorgeous. We also have a negative piece. This is what I call the negative foil. I've heard it called waste foil also, but I don't like to call it waste foil because you're not going to waste it. It's not a waste. You can use this on a solid toner sheet and transfer this image to a colored or black or white toner sheet. All right, so let's remove our striped piece and let that cool a second. Kind of wave it. Once it's cool to the touch, we do our peel and reveal. Look at that. We have a gorgeous glitzy gold and white striped piece. But I'm not using this on the card. Nope, not going to do it. I want my piece to coordinate with the colors in my card. So I'm going to use this little strip of colored toner sheet. It matches the piece we're going to put in the background. This is from the Garden Colored Toner Sheets. And I'm going to put, you see we have that striped pattern in our foil there, in our negative foil piece, and we're going to put those stripes on our colored toner sheet. It's just going to transfer right on there. I'm going to put it, and I'm going to line it up to where I can see the back because I can more easily see from the back how to line it up like I want. Okay. Now we're just going to put that through the mini ink machine. And you can put it through upside down, right side up. The mini ink machine has 2 heated rollers inside, so it's going to heat from the top and the bottom. So you're going to get a nice foiled finish. Either way you run it through. Now definitely hold on to this striped piece with that really pretty gold because you can use that for another card as well. How many of you out there have a nice little bin of negative foil pieces or other foiled pieces that you didn't use for the project you were working on at the moment, but they were created because of that project and you can use them later? All right, so now we're going to do the peel and reveal. Look at that. So cool. Now we have that glitzy gold on that really pretty magenta colored toner sheet. And now we can assemble our card. So I'm going to put down the magenta toner sheet on the card base first. Just like so. And remember, like I said, You don't have to put foil on the toner sheet. You can use it as is. Next up, we're going to put our beautiful foiled heart panel. I'm loving that so far. I love how the color on that toner sheet matches that sparkle pink really well. Okay. Now we have our vellum. You see how putting the vellum on it, you can see the hearts through, but it kind of softens so it's not all overly sparkly. And then at the bottom portion of the vellum, I'm just going to put this striped piece across. So I'm going to adhere the vellum down at that bottom portion where the stripe piece goes across, and that way I know my adhesive will be hidden. As you know with vellum, since it's translucent, you can see adhesive through it usually. And I've tried all different adhesives that say they're for vellum, and you can usually still see a little bit of it through there. So I like to add adhesive where it's going to be covered up. And actually this tape runner that I'm using is actually really good. I'm not really seeing it through the vellum. That's nice. But I still just put the adhesive where I'm going to put this striped piece over it. So I cut the striped piece 3 3/4 inches by about 1 1/4 inches. So it just fits across this first panel. You've got your vellum here, and that is where our characters are going to live, right there. And then we'll decide where I want to put our sentiments. So let me adhere our chocolate pieces down. I'm going to put some foam adhesive behind them just to pop them up a little bit for some dimension. There we go. I'm going to play around with the sentiment, kind of like it right above there on that vellum, and then put the chocolat right underneath them. I like that. There we go. I think that turned out cute. I love you, a chocolat. I love the sparkle of the card. I like that sparkle pink in the back with gold up here in the front on top of that toner sheet. Kind of all comes together. Very nice. All right, we're going to be doing some more foiling for our next card. I've got another side folding A2 size card. I've got this sweet little cupcake from the Sweets for Your Sweet. I added some of our ice rink glitter to the sprinkles that are on the cupcake. I've got a scallop circle cut out of yellow cardstock. I've got just a circle cut out of our white toner sheet. So this is not white cardstock, this is white toner sheet. So foil will stick to that. So I'll show you what we'll do with that. I've got one of our little fun wobblers. We're going to make our cupcake wobble a little bit. I've got the sentiment. Hey Sweetie, stamped and cut with a little flag end there. I've got a 1-inch strip of pink glitter paper and then a 3/4 inch strip of our colored sprinkles foilables. And we're not going to foil this piece. I'm going to use that just to accent. What we are going to foil is a panel of the colored sprinkles foilables. We're going to use that as our background. I'm just going to dust that off so it takes the foil nicely. And what I'm going to put on top of it, pretty side up, is our translucent opal. So translucent opal is a toner foil that's translucent, so you can see color through it. So we've come out with some colored foilables, and we'll continue to do so that you can use your translucent opal over them and see a beautiful foiled finish, but also you can get the color coming through. So let's run that through our mini ink machine. All right, and just like before, we can pull it out of the transfer folder, but we're not going to do the peel and reveal until it's cool to the touch. And the reason we do that is toner ink is kind of a plastic, ground plastic kind of ink. So when your toner printer prints the ink onto the paper, it's melting that ink onto the paper. So what we're doing is we are melting that ink again so that the foil has something to stick to. So you want it to be nice and cool when you peel the foil away so that it's already created that bond. So we'll peel it away. And look how gorgeous that is now. It's colorful, it's got a beautiful opalescent finish to it, really sparkly and shiny. So fun. And if you can see in our translucent opal foil, our foil negative, those confettis are on there. So we are going to use this on another toner sheet and add confetti to it. So we definitely want to save this negative foil piece. I want to make this white toner sheet kind of opalescent. So see, I'm going to put some translucent opal pretty side up with the foil, and we're going to run it through our mini ink machine. I'm going to pull that out of the transfer folder. We're going to let that cool off. While that's cooling, we can start to assemble our card. I'm going to adhere down our colorful confetti piece first. Oh, check that out. So pretty. Next thing I'm going to do, see, I've cut a strip of that colorful confetti. I'm leaving it not foiled just because it kind of adds interest. It flows with the pattern and the colors, but with it not being foiled, it just kind of adds a little different look there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that to the pink glitter strip. Oops. And then I'm going to adhere them both to the card base. I'm just putting it over to the left a little bit, just off center. There you go. You almost don't see it if you look at it a certain way, but you've got the little glitter strips next to it. Just kind of makes it stand out and just gives a little different look there. Let's go ahead and check out our, oh yes, that's gorgeous. Let's set that foil aside. I can use that again. So now that was a white toner sheet that I added the translucent opal. So now I just have that beautiful opalescent finish on white, which is a really pretty look. So I'm going to glue that down to my yellow scallop circle. Oh yeah, I love how that looks. Very pretty. So if you want to just make beautiful opalescent die cuts, or you can just foil one of the white toner sheets with that translucent opal and you get a really gorgeous finish. So that's going to go on top of my strip there. So I'm going to kind of go off the side of the card, which I do like. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a little part of it so it can have a straight edge to look like it's going off the side of the card. I just cut it with my scissors. If you're not comfortable cutting it with your scissors, you can always put it in your paper trimmer to cut a little side of that off. See there, it's going to look like it just goes off the side like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down to the card. And here's our card so far. Really shiny and pretty. I love that opalescent look to that foil. My birthday's in October, so opal is actually my birthstone. Maybe that's why I like it so much. I'm going to glue the little sentiment right there at the bottom and put the edge up against the edge of that place where I cut the circle. So I'm going to have the sentiment be right underneath our little cupcake. And our cupcake, I'm going to add to the card with one of our fun wobblers, so it can kind of wobble and shake around on the card. So they have adhesive already on them. So I'm just going to remove the release paper. Stick it to the back of my cupcake, just like so. And then I'll remove the release paper on the back here. Like I said, anytime you have any trouble with something like that, you can use the pick up and place tool. I use the pokey side, and I just go in and get that release paper to pop up. And the adhesive goes around that little place in the center that has the spring. So I'm just going to add like a dot of glue to that center part. It just adds an extra little reinforcement there. Then I'll place our cupcake right above our sentiment. And look at that. You can wobble and shake. How fun is that? I love that. And I think the last thing our card needs is just some little embellishment. I've got our spring glitter enamel shapes. They have circles, and then they have these little 4-point stars or little diamonds. So I'm going to add a couple of these to the card. Blue one. There we go, just a couple little enamel dots to finish off. And I gotta wobble the cupcake again. How fun is that? So cute, so sparkly and shiny too. For our next card, I'm using a top folding pre-scored card base. Again, our top folding A2 cards are 110-pound cardstock. Super nice heavyweight. I've got another scalloped rectangle cut out of our Pebble cardstock, which is a nice craft tan color. To go on top of that, I cut another toner sheet. This is again from the Garden Colors toner sheets. It's a beautiful sky blue, and we're not going to leave this plain. We are going to take, remember from our last card, we have the confettis, the confetti that's in that translucent opal foil. So we're going to add that to the colored toner sheet. I'm going to flip it over to the back so I can more easily see the pattern and see where I need to place that toner sheet in there. And then we'll run it through. I've also cut out white toner sheet again. This time I've cut it with our double stitched heart dies. Now, I normally would tell you to do the foiling and then the die cutting, because this has little stitched effects around the outside, and that can kind of interfere with our foiling a little bit. The foil is going to have a hard time going into those stitch details. It should come out fine for my card here, but if you're going to do this at home, definitely foil the white toner sheet first and then die cut it. You want to foil and then die cut. So let's pull these pieces out of the transfer folder and let them cool. And then let's foil our die cut heart with translucent opal over the white toner sheet. Okay, ready to peel and reveal. Oh, look at that. So we've used that entire piece of foil now, so now it's waste foil. Now we can toss it because we've used all of it. And look at those shiny little confetti or sprinkles. They're sprinkles, right? Sprinkles all over our blue toner sheet. Love that. And now we can take out these pieces and we're done foiling for our cards. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my mini ink machine off and set it aside. I always put my little transfer folder right underneath so I know where it is next time. Those things are clear. They're easy to lose on your craft desk. All right, let's do the peel and reveal and let's see. Oh yes, very nice. So now we have a beautiful opalescent heart that was just like this one, just white toner sheet. We foiled it with that translucent opal and we made a beautiful opalescent heart. I can save this one to use again, but I have used this whole piece of foil, so I don't need it. So we'll put these aside for later. Now let's start to assemble our card. I'm going to put the foil toner sheet on top of our scalloped rectangle first. Oh, I love how that came out. I hope the camera picks up how cool that looks. So many things you can do with our foiling products. We give you lots of colored toner sheet options, white, we even have silver. And I think we're getting pretty close to 100 different types and colors of foils that you can add. So lots of variety. I wanted to have lots of variety. If you're going to invest in a foiling machine and you're going to do the foiling, why not have lots of variety to add? Because you don't just make one type of card all the time. And why not be able to add foiling to almost anything you want to create? Because it does add that wow factor. So now for the card, I've just got our opalescent heart. I've cut out a couple of different sized double stitched hearts with the double stitched heart dies. And then I also colored and die cut the donut and the donut holes from Sweets for My Sweets. I put a little touch of gloss on the donut glaze there just to make it look more realistic and dimensional. And I added a little ice rink glitter to the sprinkles on that little donut hole. So we're gonna let them sit right in the center of our opalescent heart. Put our other hearts around, and then I've got the sentiment, my sweetheart, that I think go right across that heart right there. I wanted to keep this card more not monotone, because you do have some different colors, but not a lot of different colors. We got the blue, we've got that opalescent foil, and then we've got the pebble cardstock, which is tan or craft, and it matches my little donut here. I'm gonna get some foam tape. I'm using up my giant foam roll. It's getting smaller and smaller, but I have been using this one for quite a while. So I know I want to pop up our little donuts there for some dimension. So now we can start to put down all of our elements. That's just so pretty. It almost doesn't need anything else. Pretty sentiment to go across it. Let's add a little donut right there in the center. I'm going to go ahead and put my sweetheart. I cut out a couple extra hearts just to make sure I liked the layout. I'm just going to put that right across this heart here and try to, just like so. See, how do we like that? Don't like that too much. That might be too many. There, I think I like that. And then I think maybe we should add a couple little enamel dots as well. I can save my other hearts for another project. I think the light pink ones would look really nice. It would pull the pink out of the opal foil. There, I like that. Super sweet, simple card, but wow, such an impact. For my next card, we're going to do a little Funfold card. I've got one top fold card base that I've cut the front panel in half. So if it's 5.5, it's going to be 2 3/4 that you're going to cut off the front panel of that card. I've got a second top folding card base that I cut 1 inch off the side and 1 inch off the bottom. So instead of 4 1/4 by 5.5, we've got 3 1/4 by 4.5. Okay? So that's what you need for your card bases. You've got 2 top folding card bases. One we've just cut the front off there at 2 3/4, and one we've cut down 1 inch. 1 inch off the side, 1 inch off the bottom. And then we're going to be using some cardstocks and some more pattern papers from that Donut Forget paper pack. I've also got some ribbon. So let's get started putting this card together. So first I'm going to take the larger card base. I'm going to open it up. We're actually going to decorate the inside of the card, what would be the inside of the card. I've cut a piece of our Evening Clouds, which is beautiful lavender cardstock, to 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've taken a piece from that paper pack, this looks like chocolate bar, and I've cut it 3 3/4 by 5. And we're going to glue that on the inside of this card base. Now we will close up the flap on that card base and we're going to decorate that flap. So I have some Salon pink cardstock that I've cut 2.5 by 4. And then I have a diagonal stripe piece from the paper pad that I've cut 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. So we'll glue those together and glue them down. So here's our card so far. We've decorated the inside and the flap that closes down. We can set this card aside because we're going to decorate our smaller card. I've cut a sunny sky, which is a light sky blue cardstock to fit within our card. Remember, our card is 3 1/4 by 4.5. So I've cut this 4 1/4 by 3. And then I've cut the pattern paper 1/4 inch smaller than that to go on top, this little sprinkles. For now, I'm just gluing the sprinkles pattern paper onto the light blue Sunny Sky cardstock, because we're going to add some ribbon to that before we add it to our little card base. I've also cut a strip of the Evening Clouds cardstock, that lavender, the same width as the blue there. It's about 1.25 inches thick. And then I've cut another strip of that pattern paper that looks like the chocolate bar. So I'm going to glue them together first. Not going to put them on that little card yet. So glue these strips together. Before we glue them down, I cut out a piece of our vellum again with the zigzag circle dies. I love that. I love the look of the little pinked edge circle that has a little stitching inside. So that's going to be the place where our image is going to live. So it's going to be right at the top of this. So I'm going to glue just the bottom portion because I'm going to put the strips of paper right over the top of that. So I'll place that just where I want it, glue that down, and then now we can glue our strips across the top of it. I have this really cute ribbon that kind of has the colors of the papers in it. This ribbon was in our advent calendar for 2025, but any little ribbon that you have that matches will do. I've just cut a piece that's going to go across. I'll just make sure I'm using the shortest piece that I cut. And I'm going to flip it over, and on the ends, on the back, just the little ends here, I'm going to add some adhesive because we're just going to wrap it around that panel. I love adding ribbon and twine to my cards because it adds just that little something that's not paper. Just so everything isn't paper, 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 it adds a little extra texture to your cards. So now we have this little card like so. We've got our vellum zigzag circle here is where our image is going to live. Got our little ribbon, and I can go ahead and adhere this down to our small card base. And the image we're using for this card is a yummy brownie. Could also be any kind of cake that you want it to be with frosting, but I colored it like a brownie with chocolate frosting and a little ice cream with chocolate sauce on top, and of course that little cherry. And the brownie is actually holding a cupcake, which I colored with a lavender. The paper on the cupcake I colored lavender to match the cardstock that we're using. So this cutie is gonna sit right on top of the vellum there. So I actually can put a little more adhesive on the back of my vellum now that I know where my where my image is going to sit. Can add a little more adhesive and that vellum will stay tacked down a little better. Before all that, we can go ahead and put our two cards together to create that Funfold card. So basically what you want to do is open up your bottom card, okay? The larger one. The smaller card is going to glue right in the center there, but it opens the opposite of the flap down here. See? Because you're going to close that flap on the inside, and then this is going to sit on the outside like so. So I'm going to go ahead and open that larger card base up. I'm going to put adhesive on the back of this card base, and I'm going to glue it down. And I want that just nice and centered on my card base. And it actually helps to have this little chocolate bar paper because it's kind of like a grid, so I can line it up. That helped to line it up. That was a nice little surprise. So now I open up this, I put this flap down, and then I close. So now we have a little top fold card that opens up like this and like this. You could even decorate the bottom here if you like. You can decorate the top up here and still have a place to put the message, all up to you. But I love how it's coming together. So I'm going to grab some foam tape that I had left over from the last card and put that on our little brownie image just to pop up for a little more extra dimension. Our foam tape is just 1/16 of an inch thick. It's actually pretty thin that you can mail it easily, but if you like it to be a little thicker, a little popped up more, you could double it up. All right, let's add our little brownie. Oh, I love that, so cute. We've got our sentiment, life is sweeter with you in it. Love that little sentiment. I'm just going to put that on this side, just kind of right on that little strip of paper that looks like the chocolate bar. So it's just like so. It's coming together nicely. I want to add some of our glitter shapes, but first I want to add the second piece of my ribbon. So I like to put a dot of adhesive where I'm going to tie my knot, so my knot will stay. I'm just going to slide the ribbon up underneath there. That's why I just adhere it at the back so the front is open. And then I just tie a simple knot, twisting it as I go so that the hearts stay on the top. You just have to twist that one side where it wants to be underneath. You just twist it as you tie the knot, and then your hearts will always be on the top, or your polka dots or whatever's on your ribbon. If it's plain ribbon, then you don't have to worry about that. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut some of the excess ribbon off. And isn't that just the cutest? I love how that ties everything together. It gives a little extra texture to your card, and it's just a really fun card to open, to give to the recipient. Love that. And I'm just going to finish it off with some of these glitter enamel shapes. And there is our finished card. Just simple little Funfold card, but it comes together really nicely. We also did our little donut card with that negative foiling on the colored toner sheet. Our fun Wobble cupcake. Our fancy shiny chocolates. And our cherry pie shaker card. So fun. Thanks again so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed these sweet cards that we made with the chocolate love stamps and dies, as well as the sweets for my sweet stamps and dies and more. I hope it inspires you to pull out some of your sweet stamp supplies and make some cards. You can find all these products and more at pinkandmain.com or at your local retailer. Until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life.